You're not worn out. You're unfocused. Your strength slips away before the day even starts, not because you were lacking, but because the world tugs at you from every direction. Alerts, obligations, expectations, and pressures you never consciously chose. Musashi believed energy doesn't disappear. It drips out. Every unfinished task, every distraction, every comparison steals a bit of your power. Most people never notice how much strength they lose simply by reacting to everything around them. Burnout isn't new, it's human. People have always drained themselves by scattering their attention, chasing too much, letting noise bury purpose. Musashi escaped that trap by removing anything that didn't matter. Simplicity brought him clarity. Clarity gave him aim. And aim gave him an energy that didn't run dry. Chapter 1. Before fear grows stronger. People don't lose energy because life is impossible. They lose it because they hesitate. They pause, overthink, wait, and give fear room to swell until it drains them from the inside. You know that moment, wanting to start something but letting your mind build excuses until your motivation slips away. Every delay creates tension. Every loop of overthinking drains more strength. Musashi understood this long before anyone studied human psychology. Early in his journey, he faced Shishido Beacon, a master of the chain and sickle. Most fighters froze the moment that weapon spun. That single moment of hesitation was enough to lose. Musashi refused to give fear time to grow. Instead of backing away, he closed the space instantly. The fight ended quickly, not because he was physically superior, but because he didn't grant doubt a second. His lesson wasn't in the victory, it was in what hesitation does to the spirit. Your energy doesn't fade when you act, it fades when you stall, when you let thoughts multiply, when you wait for the perfect moment that never arrives. Musashi's method was simple. Move before your mind complicates the path. The quicker you step into the thing you fear, the less strength fear steals, and the more energy returns to you. Chapter 2. Stand where you're strong. Most people burn themselves out by trying to tackle every challenge head-on. When pressure comes from all sides, they tighten up, rush choices, and waste energy reacting instead of positioning themselves wisely. You feel it when life hits you with multiple issues at once. Everything feels urgent, and you're drained before you begin. Musashi lived through something similar when he confronted the Yoshio clan. After defeating 2 of their leaders, he walked straight into an ambush of dozens. Anyone else would have panicked. But instead of charging recklessly or retreating blindly, Musashi stepped onto higher ground where only one attacker could reach him at a time. The ambush collapsed because he chose the position, not because he overpowered the chaos. The win wasn't the lesson was what positioning does to your energy. You don't need to solve everything at once. You don't need to respond to everything urgently. You just need to stand where your strengths hold the most weight. When you place yourself intentionally, mentally or physically, problems shrink, choices become clear, and your energy stabilizes. Musashi won because he chose his ground, not because the pressure was easier. Chapter 3. Win before you swing. Most of your strength is wasted on battles that don't matter. Arguments, comparisons, unnecessary conflicts, and inner debates. These tiny struggles drain you long before you reach the real challenges. Your day feels heavy, not because the big obstacles are impossible, but because you fight constant, small ones you never needed to engage in. Musashi mastered the art of winning before a blade ever left its sheath. In one encounter, he defeated an opponent without striking a single blow. He used presence, timing, and intention to shake the man's confidence until the challenger gave up. Musashi knew some battles aren't won with force, they're won by clarity. The lesson was simple. Energy slips away through meaningless struggle. You don't tire from the major battles, you tire from the small, needless ones. Not every message needs a reply. Not every comment deserves attention. Not every thought must be entertained. Win by choosing your battles. Protect your strength for what actually matters. Chapter 4. Stillness sharpens the blade. Your mind loses strength every time it drifts, switches tasks, or splits between distractions. You feel it when you begin something but immediately check your phone, switch tabs, or think about the next task instead of finishing the one in front of you. A scattered mind is an exhausted mind. Musashi trained his stillness through art, painting birds, landscapes, and warriors with the same precision he applied to combat. He believed the brush and the sword followed the same principle. When he painted, he wasn't multitasking or chasing stimulation. He was absorbed in a single movement, entirely present. That focus didn't drain him, it fueled him. The paintings weren't the real lesson. The lesson was how focused attention strengthens the mind. Your energy expands when your attention stops jumping. When you give one thing your full presence, your mind stops leaking power through constant distraction. The world teaches you to juggle 10 things at once. Musashi teaches you to master one thing at a time and let stillness sharpen everything else. Chapter 5. Adapt or break. Many people feel exhausted because they resist change. They want routines perfect, days predictable, life orderly. But when something shifts, a setback, a disappointment, a ruined plan, they drain massive energy trying to force things back into their ideal shape. Musashi's strength grew from adaptability. During his wandering years, he slept outdoors, trained in forests, accepted spontaneous challenges, and learned from anyone. Farmers, monks, craftsmen. Nothing was predictable, but instead of resisting discomfort, he moved with it. The lesson was that rigidity drains you, adaptability restores you, energy flows when you stop fighting reality and start adjusting to it. When you allow days to shift, people to change, and plans to evolve, you conserve strength instead of wasting it. Musashi didn't remain strong because life was easy. He stayed strong because he flowed with life instead of resisting it. Chapter 6. The strength behind restraint. People often assume energy comes from pushing harder, doing more, applying more force. But much of what exhausts you comes from using strength inefficiently, powering through instead of understanding what's in front of you. Historical accounts describe a famous meeting between Musashi and Muso Ganosuke, a master of the staff. Instead of matching power with power, Musashi used a simple crossed sword structure to block every strike. Ganosuke couldn't break through and eventually yielded. Musashi didn't waste effort. He let structure carry the load. The lesson was that structure preserves energy. You don't burn out because you work hard. You burn out because your systems are weak, your routines unclear, your boundaries loose, your habits misaligned. Build structure, and effort becomes lighter. Even the strongest pressures, stress, doubt, expectations, lose force when met with stability rather than brute effort. Chapter 7. Timing is stronger than force. You drain energy every time you rush. Rushing choices, rushing growth, rushing outcomes. Impatience exhausts you faster than work. You feel tired not because progress is slow, but because you expect it to be fast. Musashi understood timing better than anyone. In his duel with Sasaki Kojiro, faster, taller, and technically superior, Musashi didn't try to overpower him. He controlled time. He arrived late to unsteady Kojiro's composure, positioned himself with the sun at his back, watched tension build, then struck at the exact instant Kojiro's concentration slipped. The victory wasn't the real point. The lesson was that proper timing restores energy. Life doesn't exhaust you, your urgency does. Move with rhythm, not panic. Let things unfold at their pace. When you stop forcing outcomes, you stop exhausting yourself. Chapter 8. The Cave of One Direction. Your energy scatters when your life points in multiple directions. You want success, but avoid discipline. You want peace, but hold habits that create chaos. You want clarity, but cling to noise. A split life creates a split spirit, and a split spirit is always tired. Musashi spent his final years in a cave called Reigando. In silence and solitude, he wrote and reflected, removing everything that didn't align with his path. No noise, no distractions, no unnecessary commitments, just a man, his thoughts, and complete direction. The isolation wasn't the teaching. The teaching was that alignment creates endless energy. When your habits, intentions, and actions all point the same way, you stop leaking power. Life becomes simpler. The mind becomes lighter. energy becomes steady. Endless energy isn't magic. It's what happens when nothing inside you pulls against itself. In the end, Musashi didn't gain boundless strength by being superhuman. He gained it by cutting away everything that weakened his direction. And you can too. Remove what drains you. Keep what strengthens you. Move with clarity instead of chaos. When your life moves in one direction, your energy becomes unstoppable.